So here's a quick lesson on how to write some of the trickier chords that might pop up on a music theory exam. So the assumed knowledge for this lesson is that you can write a triad, perhaps you can write a seventh chord, and that you have a working knowledge of key signatures and how to work out how many sharps or flats your chord has. The other thing you're going to need to know before you tackle this lesson is what a harmonic minor scale is, and that means you raise the seventh. Alright, so we're going to be working in harmonic minor for this, and you might get a question like this. Write for me the first chord in D minor. Now in the VC, that is the Victorian music exams, when they ask for this chord, they're talking about harmonic minor, by the way. That can, or it may or may not have an impact on the chord that you write, and I'll explain that in a minute. So the first chord in D minor. So hopefully you can find D, and you simply draw a triad off that. That was pretty terrible drawing there. Let's try that again. I'm going to draw a triad off D. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we need the key signature for D minor. So to find that, I teach my students to draw a quick circle of fifths. It has the same number of notches as a clock. And they use a saying, fish can't get drunk after eating bait, because it's funny and it sort of sticks. So A, you need to remember, is the relative minor of C. So after eating bait, and then we just work backwards from there. D, G, C, F. Alright, if we're going this way, then we're talking about flats. Here we have no sharps or flats. Here we have one flat. If we have one flat, we just write our saying out like this again. Fish can't get drunk after eating bait. Our flats come from this side. If we have one flat, it will be B flat, and that needs to go up as a key signature. And that's our chord written. Don't worry about accidentals unless it asks you to. That's always my advice, because I find students tend to get tripped up when they write accidentals, and they're generally much safer writing a key signature with these sorts of questions. That's how I would approach that question. Now we're going to go to some of the more some of the different chords, I suppose, in D minor. So instead of doing the first chord in D minor, we're going to have a look at, let's do the second chord. Alright, so instead of the first, we're going to do the second chord in. Now notice that again, this is just a lowercase i's. For this one, they'd actually do a little circle as well, which indicates diminished. Now you don't have to worry too much about that. If you use your key signature and you raise the seventh, it's going to be a diminished chord. But the raising the seventh for harmonic is the thing that's going to be important. Oh, you can't see that off the side of the screen. Okay. So if we write the second chord in D, D is there, second is here, and we do a triad. First thing. Just like before, we write our key signature. We already know that that's one flat, so we pop that flat in. The next thing is to raise the seventh. So if I count from D, and I go 1, 2, 3, oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh note is C. So there would be a C sharp in this scale, but that does not impact on my chord, so I don't need to worry about it. So what I have here is a E diminished chord, which is the second chord in D minor. So I've already got the question right. Okay, so if you trust your key signature, you will come out with the right answer regardless. Let's do one more. Let's say it asks for the third chord in D minor. This would look like this. The third chord, notice that they're capital Roman numerals now, and there'll be a little plus there in D minor. The plus means that it's going to be an augmented chord, and the fact that they're in capitals. D is here. We want the third chord, so 1, 2, 3, right there. That's going to be the third chord in D minor. I do my triad as normal. Alright, so the only thing we need to check now is that we've raised a seventh. So again, 1 is there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the C. The C does impact our chord there. We have to put an accidental in, and there we have the third chord in D minor, or rather the third augmented chord of D minor.